a horror movie sequel to a mediocre horror movie that came out 2 years ago. What could go wrong? What's going on, my YouTubers, subscribers, Five Nights at Freddy fans? Hope you guys are having a great start of your weekend because it's the first in a month, last month of the year, and now the first movie to kick it all off is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. The sequel to 2023's Five Nights at Freddy that I was just like, it was not bad. It could have been better. Now we got a sequel for it. And is the movie good? This movie, I gotta say, it's a mess, guys. It's a mess. It's got problems. There's only like one redeeming thing this movie has over the first movie, and that is it has a little bit more horror. But a little bit more horror doesn't mean like, yeah, it's totally good. No, it's just this movie suffers from what I call the Age of Ultron problem, where it pretty much is this entire movie is pretty much setting up the next movie. And this movie is just kind of like, what's the point? And literally at a point I was just like, what's even happening in this movie? What matters in this movie for it to warrant its existence? Did they add more lore to the Five Nights at Freddy, even though it's been established that the movie universe is different from the game universe, so it's like its own thing, even though it is borrowing elements from the game lore to set up its own lore? It's still like, what? The biggest pet peeve that I was on my ride home, I was like, this might get a second video, is the ending of the movie. The ending is it's not even an ending. It's not. But I'll tell you more later. Anyway, let's get into the good and bad of what I feel like Five Nights at Freddy 2 is in theaters tomorrow. I would say maybe wait till it streams and you could possibly watch both of them on Peacock for free. You do need to see it this weekend. Here's what you need to know. First of all, adding in the movie, the characters are back from the first movie and they're still just planks of wood. Like I'm saying, Mike and Abby, they're back, and it's just like they have no personality whatsoever. Their entire existence in this movie is just to get things moving, get the plot going. The only character who really does have like some type of something is Vanessa, her character from the first movie, only because of her relation to the antagonist of this whole thing. Who, by the way, Matthew Lillard, this whole thing of Matthew Lillard's return to horror and shit. Yeah, it's gonna be in Scream 7, it's gonna be crazy. And him in Five Nights at Freddy 2, he was in it for like 11 minutes. 12 if I'm being generous. Yeah, the whole hyping up like, yeah, Matthew Lillard's back and shit. Yeah, he's in the back. He doesn't really do nothing. It's only like in the movie as a dream character for another character. Don't worry, he will return in Avengers Doomsday. A plot movie, more or less. This movie takes place, well, what, 5 years or so after the events of the first movie, and our characters are trying to move on, but now it's like the new entity from the original Freddy Fazbear Pizza is now getting on the scene, and now you're going to use the animatronics to just pretty much wreak harm on this town for reasons. That's pretty much the easy version of the plot. Just know that the Five Nights at the Freddy Fazbear Pizza you saw in the first movie, like, no, that was just a franchise location. This movie established that there's an original location, and now unspeakable acts of horror happen there, and now the animatronics are coming back to life and terrorizing folks. Kinda. Approach of the movie, what's the good? The horror. There's horror elements in it from the first movie there's more of them, but what I can say about it, jump scares. All of them. This movie is definitely the MVP of jump scare for 2025, because every scare in this movie was a jump scare. From a character looking out a dark hallway or something, somebody tapping them on the shoulder, or the infamous animatronic would just be in someone's face. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm not harping on it jump scares too much, because they do piss me off. It is sort of like a thing that's Five Nights at Freddy is known for the jump scares, so it's just like, that's just accurate to lore. Doesn't make it good though? Nah. Let's get into the bad of the movie, because that's pretty much the only good. The bad of the movie is the fact that this movie is all over the place. It doesn't really have focus. So we're following Abby, who's pretty much just like, I want my friends back, my dead ghost friends from the first movie. I want them back, but they're not really in the movie. They're not her dealing with that. You got Mike, who's, again, a motionless plank of wood, who's not even dealing with nothing. It's pretty much, he's not really dealing with nothing. Pretty much just reacting to Vanessa, who could say is the main character of this whole story, because she's dealing with the shit that her father did in the past of this 2-movie franchise. That's messing with her, stuff like that, and pretty much the other characters are just kind of dealing with it. So yeah, as far as the animatronics go, how can I say this? These are new animatronics that are in the original location. These are not the same ones from the first movie. So their design, I was like, yeah, they're they're Terminators now. They're like straight up Terminators. You know what I said about the first movie? I was like, the animatronics, they look really good. Like really good. These ones, like, you could clearly tell, like, yeah, that looked real. That's like CGI 1000%. The first movie was kind of like, it kind of like blended that like animatronic, but like puppets and stuff like that, like you know, from the Jim Henson production. I thought it looked really good. It was a good blend of the two. This one was like straight CGI. They're all Terminators, and their eyes turn red and shit. They're all gonna be like weird Sarah Connor. The fact that the animatronics don't even get things going until like an hour to the movie, and I will even say Freddy Fazbear himself, the bearer on the poster, bearer of the franchise, he's like only in like 3 scenes in the whole movie. He's not even the main robot that's palling around with Abby and shit. So it's just like, what? Like I said, the biggest pet peeve for me is the ending of the movie. The movie doesn't even end. It just cuts off. It's just like, things happen, you know, stuff like that. And then it's like, oh, okay, this thing, dramatic thing kind of happens, but then it doesn't really like happen, and the movie just cuts to black. Which is like, the movie's, it's just over. It's just like, the thing happened, credits, that was it. It wasn't until we got to the post-credit scene that was like, oh, okay, so there will be a third movie. So what was the point of this movie? What? Just to sell tickets, but we'll talk about the ending of the movie in the next video. At the end of the day, Five Nights at Freddy 2 was a horror movie that I feel like just, and again, one of the many, just Blumhouse, just, you know, strike it out and miss it. There are more horror elements in this movie than the first one, but again, it's all a jump scare, so who gives a shit? It was all over the place. Story doesn't really make too much sense, and this movie just sets up the third movie. So why even see this one? I guess, well, it'll make sense when Five Nights at Freddy 3 comes out. Five Nights at Freddy 2 is officially theaters down. You will see, you're not going to see a lot of your thoughts on it. What do you think? And I'll see you guys in a few, because I'm going to talk about that ending. I gotta talk about it. As always, subscribe. Until next time.